I think it's great. I kind of told them it's kind of like a glorified practice, and we're doing fan day before it, so it should just be a really fun day for everybody. And a little different than in the past because we do have the alumni match to really use as our dress rehearsal. So this is more of we should enjoy it. We'll have a lot of different teams, and I think it'll be a really fun event from start to finish.
Where did that idea come from? Is this the alumni match forced it up a week, or whose idea was it to kind of have?
Yeah, I think the alumni match forced it up, and once we realized we could make the alumni match happen, we wanted to have that be our dress rehearsal, obviously, because it's against another team completely, and just make the alumni or the red-white still a big deal. Obviously, it's sold out, and I know we want to put on a great show, but again, it's in hindsight, it's a practice.
Where do you want to play in that alumni match? Is there a part of you that?
No, I'm past that. Shockingly, I'm past the itch to play.
But the girls have said that you play some in practice.
I do not. They're teasing you guys. I maybe hit a couple balls now and again, but I wouldn't call it play. I maybe have set one or two also, but that's only when I'm not moving.
What are your thoughts on this overall team now, week 2 in the fall?
My thoughts haven't changed. We're very talented, super fun group. They really show every day that they, number one, love volleyball, number two, want to win. And that's every person on the team. And it's really hard to think of a glaring weakness. Of course, we want to get better at certain things, but right now there's nothing that's sticking out that is scary going into the fall.
With the expanded roster, just what has that looked like in practice, just knowing that you have 7 more bodies out there?
It's made it more competitive. It's allowed us to not really hold back because we don't feel like we have to limit the middles, let's say, or we have to watch out for somebody getting overtired. We can really just structure practice how you want to structure it, and know we have the breaks are built in naturally, so we don't have to really think about building in breaks or limiting a certain player or position. We can just run it exactly how we want to, and all of those things that you worry as a coach for longevity of the season are just working out naturally.
Hey, Coach, obviously players want to get better every year, but so do coaches. What have you changed potentially from Louisville to now to make yourself a better coach for these players?
That's a good question. I just think the change of environment has made me a better coach, and I relied on some assistants that I'd had for 8 years straight, 7 and 8 years at Louisville, and there was a very high level of comfort there. And so coming here and not having worked with anybody has already made me better. I've had to explain things much clearer. We're not all on the same page right away, so having more structured meetings with my staff. But there's not a lot that I would say personally I'm doing different. It's more managing my day, talking to all you guys all the time, and just the fact that Nebraska Volleyball is such a big deal for the state. I think that's been the biggest difference.
You said this team feels hungry after the past few years. What do you see or hear that makes you think they're a hungry team?
The way practices are, everything's a competition, and whether it's just a simple drill or an actual 6-on-6 drill, they take it very seriously. Also, the mindset in our morning practices, I feel like a lot of teams can go through the motions and that they know it's going to be light and a lot of first contact, but this team has taken those maybe even more serious than the afternoon practices. We did individuals yesterday, and I thought those were fantastic. Just the attention to detail, I think, is a sign of a very hungry team.
Bergen says that you guys play a lot and scrimmage a lot more in practice. Why is it so important to be really competitive and have competition in practice?
Well, you want them to bring out the best in each other, and you want to prepare them for the battles of the season, and if you're not creating that in practice, how can you expect them to perform in matches?
You've had 4 newcomers. How have they been integrated into the team? And that first day, there wasn't a lot of explaining. They seemed to be able to jump into things really quickly.
Well, and that's a hats off to our upperclassmen, that in open gyms that they were showing them some of the drills and terminology, so we didn't have to stop a lot. But also the freshmen and, Virginia, who's sort of a freshman, are very talented. So they catch on really, really quickly. So it's been really nice to have that and not feel like you're stopping every 10 minutes to explain a drill or you're changing practice because you have to explain a drill. So it's been pretty seamless with those four.
What have you learned about them during the first couple weeks?
Ken and Manaya are really talented blockers, and both of them, I think, are well ahead of their years as middles compared to a lot of freshmen in the country. So they've been really impressive. And Virginia, once she gets, past the transition to the United States, she can be a force just in everything that she does. She's a great person. She wants to get better, and she's continuing to play better and better in practice each day.
Coach, you come in with the #1 preseason ranking in the country. Are you one of those coaches where that's fine, pressure is a privilege, or more don't pay any attention to polls or outside noise, or maybe somewhere in between?
More like we'll talk about it. I didn't even know that, to be honest. I don't know when that came out. So,
10
what?
minutes ago.
Oh, 10 minutes ago. Okay, so I'm not surprised. I mean, I get a vote, and I voted ourselves #1. I think we're pretty talented. So we're going to talk about that and talk about what it means to be #1, but we're not going to dwell on that or talk about it for more than about 10 minutes. But I also don't want to avoid it, and I don't think anybody on our team is going to be surprised that we're preseason #1. I also don't think anybody believes that that's what we'll be in December, just because that's what we are right now, because they've been through it all.
How have you seen this Campbell and Bergen's relationship evolve from spring to fall?
Bergen's a fantastic leader, and I mean, no matter who came in as a setter with her, I think would have a great experience with an upperclassman like Bergen. I've seen Campbell get a little more confident, and they'll have more, conversations together instead of Bergen kind of telling Campbell what this drill is or what to do. So they've really started to push each other, and you can tell they're really supportive as a group. And we talk about that with all of our positions, which is going to be key for us this year, is seeing themselves as the best setters in the country, the best liberos, the best right sides, whatever it might be, instead of we have the best right side, we have the culmination of the best right sides. That's how I think Bergen and Campbell are starting to see themselves as two of the best setters in the country. We don't know who's going to be the starter yet, but as a group, there's nobody in the country that has as good a setters as we do. I definitely believe that.
You said Ryan and Sky both put in a lot of time in the gym and were different players than they were in spring. What evolution have you seen from them?
Just they're both, hitting harder, jumping higher, but more importantly, their ball control is much improved. And that's a sign of getting in the gym a lot this summer is, taking care of what they can when they're in the gym by themselves. And that's usually serve and pass. So the level of their serving and passing has raised a ton since the spring.
Time for a few more.
So we left to Allie. What do we learn about Allie so far? You got to know her a little bit.
Yeah, Allie she's kind of a goofball and the type of person this team really needed. And she, again, she's different than anything we've had. She just can hit really hard. She's a lefty. She puts up a great block. And she's definitely a fiery competitor. So she's been really fun, and I'm excited to see how she is throughout this season.
What makes lefty opposites so difficult to scout and to block?
I just think you don't see them all the time. So hopefully by having lefties in our gym that we'll be able to shut down an opposing team's lefty. That's a huge advantage. But I think where the ball crosses the net is much different than a right-hander over there. And it's also easier to set high balls and out-of-system balls to lefty because they can usually deal with more errors on the set, or they can deal with not perfect sets a lot easier than a right-handed opposite.
How much will you use GAs or coaches in the scrimmage on Saturday? Yeah.
Oh, we haven't even talked about that yet, so we'll see. Because a part of me wants to coach, but I also want to kind of two teams, so we'll see. Haven't talked about it.
Dani, how much fun is this for you?
Oh, it's great. I was just telling somebody this morning that it's just really fun to go into work every day. It's different every day. This team is fun. They're, like I said, they're hungry, they're motivated, and you don't ever feel like you have to push them in practice. So when you come to work, it's like everybody's going to be excited to be here and ready to work. There's no tug and pull or pushing that I need to do.
Going back to the larger roster size, Bergen mentioned that obviously lets you guys expand the players' range, do different things. How much this time of the year are you still experimenting with different things and seeing what just different things you can do?
I wouldn't call it experimenting. It's, working on things we're going to do, and the players, I think, still feel like it's experimenting a little bit, but I see it as stuff that we will be doing in the fall at some point, and I just want them to be ready for it and be confident when we ask them to do it.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.